The trademark of this era of the Springboks is their frightening line speed, which has sparked a trend with many other top-tier nations trying to copy them with varying degrees of success. Today, I'm going to give you a breakdown of what the Springboks are trying to achieve, how they defend, how they do it, and how they manage to beat it. So Springboks are adopting a bit of a high-risk, high-reward policy by absolute line speed, aggressive line speed, and not just you see teams who are normally blitzing, but these guys are going gung-ho, numbers down, numbers up, does not matter. They're absolutely coming off the line, taking space, taking time away from attackers and attacking shapes to force skills, force errors, trying to assert their physical dominance by winning collisions with line speed and just forcing skill issues. If you can force skills, if you can put teams under pressure, more often than not, teams will crack. And when you force skill issue and put people under pressure, what they're looking to try and do is to get you to almost knock back your skill set and come back inside, turn back inside. So they don't really care about missing tackles from line speed. And you see like missed tackle stats. They're not worried about that. They want people to be turned back in so that they can be mopped up by Steph Dutoit, Khaleesi, Visa, Etzebeth, Malcolm Marks, etc. So they can assert their physical dominance, but also then you're then you're defending against one-up runners coming back inside rather than a pod of three followed by a pod of two. So they're looking to try and get people back inside so that where they're strong, where their big forwards are, where they can assert their physical dominance at the breakdown or in the tackle situation. You look at the way they defend and you look at the tries that they've picked up off the back of intercepts, charge downs, 50-50 balls, loose balls on the floor. So they are just looking to put as much pressure on as possible, but also they're trying to win penalties off it as well. So they're trying to catch people isolated, breakdown penalty, kick to touch, maul, scrum, whatever it is, where they can really get their game going. So I suppose they want the ball back as quickly as possible. They don't want opposition having 8, 9, 10, 12 phases time after time after time. They want the ball back quickly. They've got so much speed and physicality and work rate in their team. People don't give this team enough credit for their work rate. People just say scrum, physicality, kicking game. But what they've got is they are absolutely brilliant at forcing errors, picking up cheap tries, picking up intercepts, bits and pieces like that. But also, they're so good at recovering. You look at they actually give you a chance because it's high risk, because it's high reward. There's going to be times when you come in as quick off the line as Colby is, Creel is, Dialande is. They're going to give you a chance and there's going to be a little bit of footwork or whatever. But if you just watch them, and honestly, if you watch them over the next 3 weeks, watch Steph Dutoit, watch Khaleesi, who people keep saying, what does Khaleesi bring to this team apart from leadership? Well, if you just watch his work rate over the next few weeks, see how many cover tackles he makes, see how many big tackles he makes in the corner, track him back. And what they do, they force skills. And if the opposition come up trumps and they get through, then almost they hold their hands up and say, okay, that's fine. But can you then finish it off? Look how many tries or line breaks they concede where tries don't get scored because Steph Dutoit's covering, because Khaleesi's covering, because Colby or Aronson have got themselves back. And I think when you play this way or when you defend this way, you have to have speed in your team. You have to have athletes. You have to have mobile back rowers who can cover you. But you also have to have not just quick wingers, you have to have absolutely rapid wingers. So your likes of your Colby, Aronson, who are the two main ones in particular who are sort of coming up. Because they're coming up so hard, they've then got to turn to get back into the passing lane or to get back if there's a kick in behind, etc. So what they do exceptionally well is they force skills. And, 7, 8 times out of 10, the opposition aren't going to be good enough with that much pressure on you to get that skill or execution right. But even if they do, the work back and what they do when they haven't got the ball, whether it's your back rowers, whether it's Malcolm Marks, Etzebeth, or your wingers, your centres, is exceptional. Quite often when you play against a blitz defence as quick and as aggressive as this, the easiest thing, or the thing you think is the easiest thing to do, is to just keep taking more space. So get deeper, give yourself more time on the ball, and sort of try and get round it that way. That's exactly what they want. They want people to play and teams to play against them with deep, wide passes, because all that's doing is when the ball is in the air, whether it's a 10-meter pass, 15-meter pass, 12-meter pass, the time that that ball is in the air is allowing them to go and put as much pressure and take yards off the opposition attack. So they're not worrying about dummy runners or tips at the line or anything like that. If you're playing deep and wide and trying to give yourself more time on the ball, that's absolutely perfect for them, because they'll just keep taking the space, haven't got to worry about the options at the line, haven't got to worry about checking their feet or checking the runners off 9, off 10. They'll just keep coming. So they are absolutely praying that teams fall into the trap of trying to get deeper, move the ball into the wide channels with wide, long passes, and it just allows them to eat as much space and dominate the physical confrontations rather than having the opposition come in at them and being aggressive. So that's what they want when you're playing against that. The common misconception is get deeper. Best way to beat a line speed or a defense who are coming off the line as quickly and aggressively as the Springboks will be, which other teams do as well, but probably not quite as much. You have to, we said, what do they want to play against? Deep, wide passes. What's the opposite of that? Playing nice and flat, everyone connected, keeping your passes short, 2, 3, 4 options at the line, so that when they're coming off the line as hard as possible, you almost want them to get ahead of the ball. And what I mean by being ahead of the ball is if the ball player's got the ball and he's looking at an option out the back, short, inside, that the defense has actually come past the ball and taken themselves out of the game. So it opens up nice short passes, keep your attack flat, direct, going at them. And you may have to just punch through it a couple of times. And you have to ask them to reset, go again, which takes a lot of energy. So you want to be short, concise, structured attack at the line with 2, 3 options, which will ask them questions. The big thing that they've got, like I mentioned, is getting ahead of the ball is a big problem. That when you defend this way, Sean Edwards used to say that his biggest thing in training was, if you ever get ahead of the ball, you're out of the game. You have no impact on the game as a defender, because it opens up offloads, it opens up players to play through the line, short balls, and you can have no effect. And if a defender decides to kick in behind, take some kick space, then you're way out of the game and there's a long way for you to go back. Okay, so as you see in this animation, maybe the easiest way to explain it is what South Africa are looking to do is, as we said, high risk, high reward, put as much line speed pressure on as possible. We mentioned about getting ahead of the ball. What does that look like? So if you look at the ball player here, the ball's come from 9 into the middle forward in that pod. So he now has got an option out the back to 10, which the Springboks or a defense like this is really hoping that he's just going to pass out the back nice and early, nice and deep, so they can come through. But on impact, when the ball is in the second player's hand, they're in front of the ball, which they are completely out of the game. So that opens up, if you look at the next one here, the next hole mentality. So short ball when they are ahead of the ball, can't defend it. Next hole again, can't defend it. And then also short, concise passes, but also the kick space. If that ball does go out the back to 10, he's now got a load of kick space because they've come so far, so hard. It's so hard for them to turn. And the attack has obviously got all the momentum going forward. So the next whole short, concise attack is going to cause this defense lots of problems. So clearly this is an absolute weapon. This is the number 1 team in the world by a country mile. But they're using this defense as a weapon. Yes, it's high risk, high reward. But if you just look at the stats, 2025, they averaged 14 points to concede. 14 points in a game where attack is absolutely ruling the roost with 45, 52 games and all these bits and pieces. See from the Six Nations, the Rugby Championship. France, they conceded an average of 25, New Zealand 23, Ireland 18, England 17. So just goes to show, like, that is the absolute gold standard for them. So how do you beat that and how do you get that average up above 14 is you make sure your attack is nice and short and concise. You don't want loopy passes. You don't want wide, deep passes. You want options at the line, short ball out the back, sort of ball movement, footwork, and playing through. You also want to find kick space. You don't want to be playing against this too often. So can you find some kick space, whether it's bringing the fullback up, bringing the line speed ahead of the ball to put the kicks in behind, and you take short sides. Can you take as many short sides as possible to limit the opportunities where the line speed will come? And they'll still come on short sides, But what's good about attacking short sides is that any defensive error is multiplied and the recovery time and space is not as much as if they're going open. So I think when you attack this Springboks line speed, you need three things: a good kicking game, short, concise attack, and you need to take as many short sides as possible to limit the opportunities they can come and get it. But an absolute weapon for the number one team in the world, without a doubt.